Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
I have been planning this one for months, maybe even years. We got some former guests back together. This is a brother segment. We did something kind of raw and uncuff with, or off the cuff with Sundance Wicks and Steve Smiley. Luke Taylor here, Full Court Press, College Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by the Full Court Network. We got two fine gentlemen, all right? We're going to call this show We Are the Joneses, all right? We got James Fitzgerald Jones, head coach, Yale, and Joseph Fernell Jones, head coach, Boston University.
Joseph Fernell Jones.
I know. I said Joseph Fernell Jones. Coach, you already cut me off. We got two coaches. Which dog do you think is more aggressive, a terrier or a bulldog?
Well, Joe, you can answer that.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one.
I don't know either. I think a terrier might be more aggressive. Those are little. The smaller the dog, the more aggressive they usually are.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, or they yap much. So we got two guys, head coaches for a long ass time. All right, we're not aging you. So James, you're a little bit older by about. It looks like about a year and a half. Okay, were you, Joe? Would you say he was a good older brother?
Oh my God, no. No. He was much better after 19, but growing up, no. He kicked my ass. He stole from me. No. We didn't like each other one bit growing up. Not one bit.
Yeah. Would you ever think that you'd be talking to me right? Well, obviously, probably not, but talking right now, both head coaches of, well-known universities and programs. Did you ever think this would happen growing up?
No, I don't think, you're growing up, you're kind of just playing ball. You're not, I didn't give any thought to coaching until I was much older. And so, no, it's probably not something we thought about. Probably thought we'd be playing somewhere, maybe playing in college, but not coaching.
Yeah. What about you, James?
No, it's not something that you think about. I think Joe and I are both very lucky and fortunate to be doing what we do for a living. It's not something we set out to do when we were young kids. It's not like we were, 7 and 8, not liking each other, talking about what we want to do for a living, and came up with basketball. That wasn't part of the equation. We kind of lucked into it, and very fortunate people to be doing the things we do and having a lifestyle that we lead. And, people ask me all the time how I'm doing. I said, I'm doing great. I coach basketball for a living.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful profession.
Yeah. Was basketball just kind of in the DNA growing up?
Well, it was a neighborhood thing. Like, we played everything growing up. But basketball was probably the biggest sport of all in our neighborhood, where there was more of a dynamic and more of a social construct through it, where, you go to the park and, you're too young to play. And I remember going up to guys and say, hey, can I get some run? And Joe knows the punchline of this. So the place where we played was our junior high school, P.J. Brennan. And there was a track right next to the courts. And I would go up to guys, and I had these big, thick glasses on. And I'm some 9-year-old kid asking a 12-year-old or 14-year-old or whatever, can I get some run? And he looks me up and looks me down and he goes, you can run around that track. but you're not running with my team next. Yeah. And so, you go from that to being the best guy amongst the best guys on the court, where you were playing every game, no matter if your team lost, because whoever had winners was going to wait and see who lost that game to see who they were going to pick up. So it was just this social dynamic that we went through that was just wonderful and really taught you so many lessons about life.
Well, it's so true, because we all go through it. We always, I had a brother who was 8 years older than me. I didn't even ask. because I knew I wasn't going to play. But those couple years, and it makes you appreciate when you're the older guy. Hopefully, you look at the younger guy and be like, "Yeah, come on," but you don't take it easy on him.
Nah, there was none of that.
No, there was none of that. And James was stronger, more athletic when we were growing up. So he dominated. He dominated me. And there's a story that he likes to tell, and it's true. He beat me and my younger brother one time. He beat us both together. We were playing together. We couldn't beat him. He beat us both.
Well, that was easy because our brother John, he was a crier.
he was the weak link.
So basically it was like one-on-one against Joe. Is basically what it was. And as you said, I was a year and a half older, so
God.
it wasn't.
We were just like young kids back then. You know, when we lost, you know, we cried and the whole bit.
Yeah. So you obviously scarred John. Did he ever take a path in basketball?
He did. He played high school basketball, and he tried out for the college team and got cut. But he tried, and he was a good high school player to a certain extent, and he had fun with it. But I don't know that John had the same love for the game that Joe and I had growing up. I think there was just a bigger love, and I think that physically we were just a little bit better that way, so it made it easier for us to love it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he was more of a lover than an athlete.
He was definitely a lover.
That guy always had a girlfriend.
So
and he's a year younger than me, so it's 3 in a row. He's 1 year younger than me.
Yeah. So you guys kind of took the same path in the senses of you were an assistant. I believe, James, you started out not in basketball, correct?
Yeah. I started out for a computer company, and Joe was really, got me involved with basketball. He was a junior high school coach in 7th and 8th grade team, I believe, a 9th grade team. And I would go back on occasion. I would drive from Connecticut on a Saturday morning and just go to practice with him. Now, mainly we were going to go out and have a good time that night, hanging out with my bro. But I would go down, and in the morning I'd get there early enough to go through practice, and I kind of missed it. And I was fortunate enough to go back to Albany as an assistant coach and get a master's degree. Joe had already had his master's degree, and he was guidance counselor in school before Jay Wright plucked him to go to Hofstra. And I was a college coach before he became one, but then he was at Division I level. I was at Division III, and I was fortunate to become an assistant at Yale.
Yeah. Did Joe's love of dressing well because of Jay Wright ever rub off on you?
No, well, I'll say this. He made you think about it because he looked so good, And when I first came in, we had no money. So when I was at Hofstra, we're not making money. And he would get on me about the shoes I wore or the tie I had on. So yeah, he made you think about it for sure. Yeah.
So interesting years both for you guys this past year. I mean, Joe, you had just some great opportunities and just couldn't get over the hump. 16-16, not a bad year. 10-8 in the Patriot League. James, you returned back to the NCAA tournament. 22-8, 13-1. How are you feeling this off season with your teams, and then how are you feeling this offseason with just the kind of current landscape of college basketball?
I'll answer that question first. So we have a little bit of an advantage because we have our guys here for the summer. And so I don't know how much it helps me because we scrimmage Yale every year, and I don't know if the summer is really giving us much help because they tend to tool us.
Not true. You got us last year.
Yeah.
Did he get him?
Yeah, scrimmage. It's a scrimmage. James didn't even get off his seat. I was coaching like I was in the Final Four. James didn't move off his seat. And then he goes 13-1. I go 10-8. So he knows something more than I do.
We were talking to, I can't remember if it was Phil Martelli or something like that about scrimmages. And he started laughing because, with social media, you need to cover something. So everybody gets excited about these scrimmages. And coach, I watched one for like 1 minute in the fall last year. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
like
no,
I know as a former coach,
it's basically a practice. It's basically a practice where you can really evaluate in some different ways than you normally do. That's all. It's just a practice.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, my guys are here, and the things that I really have loved and appreciated about our program, especially like in the last, I would say 5 to 7 years, is we have a great culture. We really have terrific kids. We're one of only 4 teams that didn't lose anybody in the transfer portal. And so we have a really talented group back. We have great depth. We got nice size. We have good guard play. We can shoot the ball. We really are a really balanced team. And so we've been able to kind of stay a little above the issues with the transfer portal and the NIL driving this thing. You know, the education still kind of drives the decision making, I would think. And then I think the culture and the way the guys feel about their teammates and the coaches and the university, I think has impacted some of the decision making. But I'm not naive. I think at some point we'll be dealing with the portal like everyone else. But right now it really hasn't hit us like it has other programs.
Yeah. And I would say we're very similar to that. My guys are all over the country this summer. We have a couple of guys on campus taking classes. One guy working in an area, and then I have a incoming freshman who's in a special Yale program academically. So we have that going on. And then I have had one kid playing the 3-on-3 in Germany, and I had another kid playing with Baylor in the World University game. So they're scattered, and we talk to them all the time. And I love the fact that our guys get to go home and we don't have them up over the summer, and that frees up my time.
It's all about you, Coach. All about you.
But
I don't blame her, man. We're around these guys all the time.
I also think that when you're with your kids, I can only yell at my guys so often to go high hands. I can, in terms of sprint back on defense, you can only do that so much before kids turn you off. And so for me, not having them over the summer probably is good for coaches and players here.
Yeah.
Now, if I had an opportunity to do it, I probably would work with our younger guys and work anybody out individually that wanted to, but it wouldn't be something I would make mandatory for the most part.
Yeah.
And then, the landscape of college basketball has changed dramatically, as Joe talked about, and it hasn't really weeded itself down to us. Like, I've had one player in my 27 years at Yale transfer, and that was Danny Wolf, and no one else has transferred. We got our entire team back.
But he graduated, correct?
Say again?
He graduated from Yale.
No, Danny did not graduate. We've had some guys transfer, but no one's transferred with eligibility. Danny's the only one that transferred with eligibility. Everybody else grad transferred because they couldn't stay at Yale anymore. Yeah. Like Matt Nolan grad transferred last year, so that doesn't count. Like, he didn't leave the program. He couldn't play for the program or go to the school anymore. So that being said, we've done a pretty good job at retaining our guys, and hopefully that will continue. As Joe said, education's driving it, and that you're not going to get a better education than you can here. So that's really important for us, and hopefully we can continue doing the same thing down the road.
Yeah, you guys are in a really unique situation because you're in such good academical schools, so I think it protects you, and hopefully for as long as it can because of that. But Coach, when Mr. Wolf got announced, I didn't hear Michigan. I heard Yale Bulldogs. I heard it. I heard Yale Bulldogs.
Yeah. Well, I was at the draft. He invited me to go down, and
awesome.
Got me a ticket. And Danny's a great kid. And the thing about him that people were like, do you like him? And it's like, well, hold up, like, like are you mad at him because he left and that sort of thing? Do you still have a relationship with him? And yeah, I do, as much as you can with someone who's going through what Danny's going through right now and trying to make it to the NBA and stay on the roster. But he handled it the right way when he left. He came to my office and said, Coach, I'm thinking about going and get my name in the transfer portal. What do you think? What is going to be like for me next year at Yale? What are we going to run? What are we going to do? Because I really want to make it to the NBA, and I'm trying to figure out the best place for me to go and for me to be. And from that standpoint, I thought that he handled it the right way. I love the kid, and I wish him nothing but the best going forward.
Yeah. No, exactly. I think your little brother was happy he left you, because then he could beat you in the scrimmage this year.
Oh yeah, that would have been rough. Man, that guy. Ooh,
so let me ask you this: if you could change or make one rule in college basketball, what would it be?
Well, I would say now, I would, and that's a hard one because there's other things that you'd like to, but I would do something with the portal. I don't know if I would make it that you could transfer and be eligible right away, or you could transfer multiple times. I'm more concerned about kids not getting their degrees because they've transferred so many times. And I don't know if that's the one that but that's the one that comes to mind, is doing something with the portal where it's not going to hurt kids down the road.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way I would go. And here's my thought for it. I'd go back to the old rule, because to sit out a year is only going to help the kids academically. So if you have to sit out a year and you have to transfer, you're going to lose credits most of the time when you transfer. So now you can make those credits up. You can go to practice every day, still work on your game, still get better. Doesn't hurt you that way as a player. And now you sit out a year. So that will deter some kids from leaving because of that. And because I think that it's too much of the wild, wild west where guys just transfer every year and there's no continuity for them or the basketball programs. We lose so much in the transfer where kids don't understand that a relationship that you build over the course of a 4-year period of time, and to go through some hard times and not playing and to get over that and to play, and what that does for you for the rest of your life. Like Danny Wolf didn't play here when he was a freshman. Now, when I say he didn't play here, he didn't play a lot. Right. And he got drafted 27th in the NBA. Right. Like John Poulikitis didn't play a lot as a freshman, and he's with the LA Clippers organization. So that has gone on a lot in our program. But the reason why John is where he is because he didn't like it very much sitting on the bench, and he worked harder. Danny didn't like it very much sitting on the bench, and he worked harder, and he got more confident in his game. So I think that would be very helpful if we went back to the rule the way it was, where you had to sit out a year, because I think it's only going to help students, especially academically.
Right. Absolutely. I totally agree with you. The whole transfer portal is really interesting. I love when they enter their name in the transfer portal and like 5 minutes later they've already picked a school.
Yeah, well, you know what happened. You know what time it is. You was born at night, but not last night. So that was a done deal before it started. So
I love it. It's like I'm entering the transfer portal. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So and I think I can't remember which coach we're talking about APR. And he started laughing. He's like, "What's that nowadays?" Like no one.
It's so funny. That was driving everything for a while. Was the transfer? It was the APR. Everybody was talking about that, and now no one even brings that up. What a shame.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate because you guys are leaders of young men, and I'm sorry in life. Like if you struggle at work, and this is every day, you're having a rough day and you quit. How is that going to affect you in 10, 15, 20, 30 years? Like you can't just switch jobs every day. You can't switch wives. Well, I guess in some cultures you can, but we won't go there. But like you can't just say like you're working. Let's say you're doing the sales again. You can't just jump, because here's the thing. If I'm an employer and I see 4 or 5 jobs in 4 or 5 years, you think I'm going to hire that person?
Yeah. And here's the thing. What we don't understand is the money that these kids are making is fleeting. It does not last forever. What will last forever is your education. Like when I was in 6th grade, and Joe, remember this, we had these autograph books that you went around.
I can't believe that's the first time I've thought about that since like 1975. Go ahead.
I just rolled up on mine a while back. My wife.
You still have that?
I still have it. And my fifth grade teacher wrote, "Gold and silver will tarnish away, but a good education will never decay."
Dude, I remember that. I remember that poem.
So that's a quote. That's 50 years ago now. I still remember that, and the importance of that. And so, well, if you're not going to graduate and get your education, what are we doing? Like that lasts for you forever. Like the monies that you make, if you make $1 million, number one, it's not $1 million because your agent's going to take 20%, and then you got taxes. So your $1 million is really like $500,000. So how much is it going to last for you for the rest of your life? And I understand it's easy to think and to go after that and to get it. But what you really should be concentrating on is, yes, you can get paid, but get your education too. And we should be finding ways to make sure that these kids have an opportunity, if they want it, to be educated.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. I 100% agree. You got to look at the long play, not the short play. But so we do a thing, as you know, called the shot clock. Sam's not here, unfortunately, so I'm going to kind of start, but I'm going to do more of a challenge. It's going to be called the Jones Family Challenge. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I want to see who would be better, or what have you, between the two of you. Okay, a little friendly competition between two brothers. Who had the nicer hair?
Joe.
Oh, me.
Joe.
Wow. Okay. That was simple.
I will tell you this. I'm at the age where I will have no debate on anything that I believe to be true. So, like, I'm not going to fight it that I had better hair, because I didn't.
All right. Who was the favorite growing up?
Ooh.
Oh, I was with my dad every day of the week. I was, I would say I was at that point.
I got smacked in the face one time because I told my dad he loved he loved James more than he loved me. So he smacked the last time I mentioned that.
This is what I'll tell you about Joe. So wherever we went, we couldn't find him. He was going to disappear. The brother was going to disappear. Like, he'd be in the clothes in the department store, like in the park, he's in the woods. Like, he was always doing his own thing. Joe was a rebel. He was always doing his own thing.
Even when we were young enough to go out hanging out, I was drifting off.
Okay.
I'm doing my own thing.
Okay. Who would you say? Well, you'd know this because it's the two of you. Who had the higher GPA?
Oh, James. Yeah, James. James is like the smartest guy in our neighborhood.
Okay. That's impressive. Best childhood nickname?
We both had the same one.
Well, you had Jimmy Jump Shot. I like that one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it counts when you give yourself the nickname.
You give yourself Jimmy Jump Shot?
Well,
James was part of a group of guys. There were like freaking 12 of them, and they all had nicknames, and they would put them on the back of their jerseys. Yeah.
So, but I got it from our 8th grade or 9th grade coach had posted the pictures of all the guys on a team somewhere in the school, and he wrote Jimmy Jump Shot Jones. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm Jimmy Jump Shot Jones now.
Okay. What was yours, Joe?
Oh my God.
We had some like negative nicknames.
we had some ones we can't say on the Zoom.
Yeah. I was called we can talk about it. I was called the Earth because of my head. And Joe was called Truck, and I don't know why we called Joe Truck.
The shape of my head, I don't know.
I don't know either.
We just made fun of each other all the time.
Oh my gosh. Okay, if you ran a race right now, who would win?
Joe.
I was fast.
Joe's always been faster than me. Here's a great one for you. This is great. You'll love this story. So we had this thing because Joe played football, and my parents wouldn't let me play football. And Joe was great. He was awesome. And like, I remember he scored this touchdown in the rain, and my dad was running around the sideline. He slipped in the mud. And so Joe was really quick and fast. And like, my older brother was the antagonist, and he was like, oh, who's faster? Joe. So we had this race in the backyard. We were going to run. Our backyard was probably about 50 yards long, and we were going to go up and back a couple of times, right? So I, thinking I'm a genius, I'm going to pace myself. So I started running like a slower pace, and Joe just like ran like the road runner and is up and down and just beat me hands down. So 100% Joe's faster.
Okay. What would you say
James got a good memory.
What would you say, each of you? I want to pick a song that each best describes each other. What song would that be?
Oh my God.
Well, it had to be a song that Joe could dance the Running Man to. Because that was his signature move on the dance floor. He was Running Man like you read about.
Oh,
that was his thing.
I don't know, man.
You know what? You'd have to give us that in advance for me to come up with something.
I got to
Okay.
come up with, yeah, that's a hard one.
Okay.
That's a good question, though. Cool question.
It is, because that really says, I always do it for like, what's the best song or the song that best describes you. But I think picking each other, like I asked Andrew Hurley, what's the song that best describes your uncle and your dad? And it was Tom Petty, Don't Back Down, Don't Back, that song. So, I mean, I thought that was fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So last question. If you played one-on-one right now and you can't have your brother John on your team, Joe, who would win?
I think James would win.
Would it be close?
We would here, this is what I'll tell you. So the last time we played hoop, the two of us, it was me and Joe against our sons. And it was Christmas about 3 or 4 years ago.
I still have the whole video of that.
Yeah. And they kicked our ass. And I'm still mad at Joe because his son scored all of his sons.
He was
killing him. I'm like, guard that guy. Guard him.
He was killing
it was fun.
James played longer. Like, James still played. Like, I stopped playing when I was probably around 28 or 30. I played all through. I played every day, all day. Mm-hmm. When I started coaching at Hofstra, I really stopped playing basketball. But James played. James still played against his players until recently.
Yeah, so we played this year as the coaches versus. So every year there's the coaches versus the seniors. 7-game series, games to 11 on the 5th floor of our building with a short court. You can take one dribble over half court and pull up for a 3. So we're playing, and the coaches won the first game. I didn't play in it, and I started playing the second game, and I was 1 out of 3 from the arc. I go, listen, I'm done, because I felt like I'm trying to guard one of my players. It was Teo Rice, who was our senior captain. And I felt like if I had to make a quick move to my right or my left, I might leave something on the ground. And I didn't want to leave anything there. So I go, okay, guys, I'm done.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. So last question for you guys. We usually ask you about season and stuff like that, but I want to ask something. What would you say the best advice your parents gave you guys? If you look back at your life, and I can't remember if it was you, James, or you, Joe, you talked about your dad, about Chris Shirt, taking personal pride. And I think about my own parents. Like, what is kind of your fondest memory of your parents or advice?
So I think my dad was more of he talked his tail off. We'd had to go to work with him all the time. And he would just kind of talk to us about doing the right thing, staying away from drugs, being a good person, making sure you're treating people the right way. But I think what I learned from my dad was just the work ethic. He was like a consistent hard worker. He worked 6-7 days a week. He found other things to do. He cleaned carpet. He was a guy that just was always looking to make money and work. And so I just learned that from him. I think that has definitely impacted my life the most, I think, is the work ethic. And, and with that, whatever you touch, having pride in what you're doing. Those are two really cool things that I was able to pick up from just being around my dad.
That's
cool. I'll piggyback that. So I worked with my dad like most every summer. Like, Joe found ways to get out of doing that.
I was not doing that
because he was my dad. His dad's a
James liked the money. James was about the money, man. Yeah, that guy, I was not about that. I'm like, I want to have a good time. I want to enjoy what I'm doing. I don't mind working hard, but I don't want to do something I despise. I hated it. So you work in a cleaners, bro, in the summer, it's like 110 degrees.
Yeah.
Pressing clothes.
So working with Dad every day is his work ethic. He never stopped, but he always talked about he was the best, right? Like, I'm the best at this. Like, I may be a presser. So he took an undignified job and he made it dignified. But I'm the master. I'm the best in the world at this. No one's better than me at this. So the confidence that he had as a man just kind of trickled down, I believe, in his children and in Joe and I. And I've never gone anywhere and said, hey, I'm the best coach. No, I've never said that. Now, I may think some things about myself. I would never say things out loud, but there's an inner confidence that I have that was built brick by brick from my dad going to work with him every day and just believing in yourself, because listen, you got to believe to achieve, right? And that's kind of like a big part of it. And I think that, yes, I think that's the biggest lesson, and working every day, working hard and believing that you're really good. But that dude, he can make a garment stand up and dance. He was really good.
He was good. He was good. He was good.
Yeah.
He took a lot of pride. He took a lot of pride in it too.
Yeah. Well, coaches, we really appreciate. Going to stick on one more minute, but check out the Boston University Terriers and the Yale Bulldogs this year. We always love having you on the show. We're great ambassadors for basketball, college basketball in general, but also young men. Really impressed. I mean, you guys have both had really good longevity in both programs, and we really appreciate it. But you're going to stick on one more second, and don't forget to follow us on the Full Court Network, all our social handles. Sam and I'll hopefully be back next week on the Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show.